everyone, and welcome to Wade's World, the Deadpool Podcast, episode 25. I am Phil, and unfortunately, I was hoping Lilith could be here for the big 2-5, but unfortunately, Irma hit and Lilith Hellfire is living in the Stone Age with no electricity and no internet. So, luckily, I had a brainstorm. I was like, hey, I've been wanting to get this guy on the podcast for a while because episode 1, we had Charlie Esser and to discuss the Deadpool 1 movie. And I was like, wait a minute, who's the one Capes and Lunatics who I haven't had on here? Of course, Mr. Tyler Patrick.
Well, thank you, Phil. I'm glad to be on here. It's always fun to talk about something a little bit different than the usual stuff. And I have a special guest with me as well. So,
your daughter.
Yep, my daughter, Miss Sayla, who's always calm when she's sitting on Daddy's lap. So,
but this works out good too because, like, I mean, me and Lilith recorded a bunch of episodes because, like, during the summer she was busy with like cons and stuff. But I was like, I want to talk some, like, you know, we got some Deadpool 2 news, we got New Mutants and X-Force news, and I'm like, hey, this works out perfectly. Tyler can join me. You're a big movie guy. If you don't believe it. Look! Scroll down your feed, Capes and Lunatics feed. At least the first episode of Recall has come out, where Tyler and friends discuss The Dark Knight. And stay tuned for episode 2, where he talks to some idiot about The Crow.
Yeah, and we got more coming down the pipeline. I just secured a topic and discussion with the great Rob Southgate today that we're going to do.
Ooh!
So we were talking about that. Today, so I look forward to doing that, and that'll be a while. Kind of want to release that episode in December, but just saying.
Oh no, Rob Southgate, December. I think I know what you're talking.
What you got? Was
Rob Southgate in this movie?
No.
Okay.
Nah, I wasn't gonna bother him with that, but that is a good idea. Maybe me and you should do that.
So what was Arnold like?
Did he punch you in the face?
That could be a Capes and Lunatics Christmas special. Yeah.
Oh my God! Jingle all the Rob.
Jingle all the Southgate. All right. Anyway, we're here for other movies. Okay, Lilith wasn't here, so I didn't even bother making a top 10 list. But Tyler, well, first and most importantly for this podcast, Deadpool 2. What have you heard? What do you want?
I'm actually really excited about the fact that, like, I like Josh Brolin, and he has done great in everything I've seen him in. I think he was totally miscast as Jonah Hex. Just going to throw that out there. That movie was a mess, but I liked he was one of those people. I remember he was a name that got thrown around when they were discussing the idea of the older Batman before they cast Ben Affleck. And it was one of those that when they said that, I was like, okay, I could see that. And then when they announced Cable, like, he was a name that nobody was talking about because, of course, everyone's thinking about him as Thanos. And then when they cast him and put his picture up, it's like, yeah. It's like I'm totally on board with that.
He's like the go-to. Yeah, he's like the go-to comic guy now. Like you said, Jonah Hex, got Thanos, Cable. Yeah, he's like everywhere.
Domino, like, her picture looks cool, and that's a character I'm not that familiar with. So I'm open to it, like, whatever interpretation they're giving me. So yeah, I'm not against anything.
I just wonder, like, if the tone is going to be completely different for Deadpool 2 than it was for the first one, because you had Cable in the mix. I mean, you could have time travel, and I mean, how familiar are you with Cable's origin?
Oh, I'm familiar with it. Like, it's
okay.
He's Scott Summers' son from an alternate timeline where, and if I remember, it's not really Jean Grey. It was her clone. Was his mom?
Yeah, it wasn't an alternate
timeline.
It wasn't an alternate timeline. It was the regular timeline. But yeah, he's the son of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, who was a Jean Grey clone. Yeah, and then as a little kid, Apocalypse infected him with this techno-organic virus, and he could only be cured 1,000 years in the future. But Then he came back as Cable before his younger self left. So,
see, that right there is fun just because we have the Stewart or McAvoy line, and like you could have some fun with like making jokes about Cable being there and his young dad and Cyclops. I mean, it's I don't know, like it's one of those things like with this movie with Deadpool 2, like I like the little teaser they gave us. It reinvigorated my interest in the song St. Elmo's Fire, because now when I hear it, I just think about Deadpool running. Like that's the thought I have in my head is Deadpool running out of a phone booth.
Yes.
Going to save a dead man. So, and I mean, I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. I'm trying to remember who they got to direct Deadpool 2, since they kept switching everything around. What's some things that you want to see in Deadpool 2? Like,
I don't know. That's what I'm like. I don't know how much the tone is going to change, because I was like, oh, I wonder how much they're going to go in the Cable's backstory. But it would be worth it just for like a 5-minute explanation from Deadpool, just so he can mock it the whole, for like 5 minutes straight.
I think it'd be hilarious if he makes fun of, like, they show Apocalypse from X-Men Apocalypse, and he's like, and he does some sort of like jokes about, you know what? No, we're just gonna wipe that away. Let's what do we want our Apocalypse to look like? And like it's like him drawing or something where he's like, we want a better looking Apocalypse.
There's gonna be like Back to the Future jokes, and
I mean there has to be like jokes about the time change, and I mean, and this, like, in all reality, we're not really sure when in the timelines that Deadpool takes place. Like, is this during that time, before Days of Future Past, or is this after Wolverine supposedly fixes everything? Like, we're not really sure where this Deadpool takes place.
Oh, I mean, with the whole thing with time travel, how Ozma would be. I don't know if they're going to go this far, but if they just like popped in like different scene, they put them in like different scenes from different X-Men movies. And just,
like, hey, let's try to explain what time period this takes place in, and then as they do it, they're just like, you know what, we're just gonna never mind.
Or they just like pop up somewhere, and Deadpool's like, oh, F it, it's Wolverine Origins, get us out of here.
Because, I mean, I love that they made fun of Wolverine Origins with the Deadpool figure and stuff like that in Deadpool. And so I just I'd love to see some more playful things. The director was the co-director of John Wick Part 1. Is who it was that they got for Deadpool 2, which to me will be fun. Like, the action will be great. And I just really want the humor to stay.
Yes,
because that's what we need for Deadpool movies.
Oh yeah,
that's what we're counting on. So I don't know. Deadpool's one of those characters I liked, but I've always been a big Ryan Reynolds fan. Like, even back in the day when he played Michael Bergen on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. Like, that got changed to Two Guys and a Girl. Like, I liked him back then before he had his Van Wilder breakout. And so, I mean, I was signed up for him as Deadpool. Like, when they announced it, like, for Origins, I was like, sweet. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, sweet. And then I was like, duh, what is this at the end? Like, this makes no sense. And then, of course, I always wanted to see the movie, just because of him. So to me, like, he sold the character to me before. Like, I found the character interesting, but I find Reynolds more interesting. So,
but yeah, I mean, Ryan Reynolds was trying to get the like Deadpool made for like God, it seems like at least 10 years or something.
Let's see, Origins came out in 2009. So like 8 years.
I think before even that, he was pushing for a Deadpool movie. I mean,
Well,
I don't know how serious. I don't know how serious like people were taking him, but I think he wanted one even before then.
Well, the thing was, he signed up with the agreement to appear in Wolverine Origins to have a Deadpool movie. It was supposed to be like, be in this, and then we'll do a Deadpool feature. And then that's why he did it in Origins. And he's talked about on the set of Blade Trinity, where this guy came up to him and said, "Your Hannibal King is pretty much just Deadpool," and that's how he was introduced to the character. So, I'm just, and to me, like, he's one of those actors that is the character.
Oh yeah.
Like there's certain actors that when you state, who would ever be able to play that character? It'd take a while to find somebody to outdo that. So,
but yeah, I mean, looking at IMDb, it looks like, I mean, a lot of the characters from the first one are coming back. Of course, Deadpool, Vanessa's coming back. Negasonic, Colossus, Blind Owl, yes. Dopinder, who's at the cab driver. But they're saying Weasel rumored. I'm like, no, we need Weasel.
I think TJ Miller's just ashamed that he was in the Emoji Movie and he's just hiding somewhere.
Maybe. But I mean, they kind of switched him up because he wasn't in the comics. He wasn't really a bartender. He built weapons for Deadpool. He was kind of like, how the Punisher has a microchip. He was like his.
Well, maybe that's what we'll end up seeing in the second one. Is he'll change. That'll be his big change.
We talked about it a couple episodes back, me and Lilith. But if you can find the Daredevil Deadpool annual from, what was it, 98 maybe? Was it 97? If you could find that, because I mean, those two are great, but like there is just like Weasel meets Foggy Nelson, and those two just like get drunk and like
Foggy
just eat their way through New York. It's awesome.
That sounds like a good time.
But
I'm looking at New Mutants. Like, we're gonna talk about that. It's one of those movies. I'm looking at the cast and I see good cast. But do I really care about any of the mutants that are here so far?
Let me look up. It depends how they do it, because got Wolfsbane, basically she's turned into a werewolf. That's pretty cool. Magic, she's of course, she has magic, and Colossus's that's Colossus's sister, and like
Ileana.
she becomes she has like a big ass sword, and like,
can they fight Omega Red, please? Just because that my first introduction I can remember to Colossus was the X-Men, the one with the Juggernaut, and then the one where he fights Omega Red, like in the old cartoon. Like, and I don't know. I think Omega Red should have been a villain we've already had. But anyways, it's just, it's one of those things. Like, I hate to say this, but it seems like everybody's trying to do these team movies of characters you don't expect. So is this Fox's Guardians of the Galaxy? Like young, not unknown kind of characters that still have ties to bigger characters? Because just think about X-Men New Mutants. Like, where does this fall into the timeline? Like, where does this connect to the other movies? Like, will there be connection? Like, at first it was just called New Mutants, but it's listed here as X-Men, the New Mutants. Where does it fall on this grand timeline?
But I'm looking. I mean, you got a lot of the original New Mutants, and then you have Dr. Celia Reyes, who was in X-Men in the early 2000s. She was like a surgeon, and all of a sudden she got these mutant powers, and she's like, she's like, you know what? I don't want to be a superhero. I want to be a doctor, but stuff kept happening. I just wonder if they're gonna make her like the Rosario Dawson from all the Netflix shows for the Fox universe.
Yeah,
she'd be patching everybody up.
I don't know. I need something to connect my characters, and connecting the different versions that I'm looking at here.
Well, they said didn't they say something like it's going to be almost like a horror movie? They said something about
They
a
said they
horror
want to
element
try
to
to do something. And I mean, that could be cool. And I'm looking at the director, Josh Boone. And, I'm looking at his directing. He's directed 2 movies so far. Stuck in Love and The Fault in Our Stars. And you know what? Nothing's jumping out at me that says horror or mutants, but it tells me something about child stories.
I mean, unless they go with like if they center it around Ileana Rasputin magic, who because I don't know, she had this whole thing with limbo and like fighting demons and stuff. So unless they get they bring in like some like demons or something.
I don't know. I think I'm also. I mean, we're talking X-Men here, so the New Mutants, I think, is one of those properties that has the best chance of breaking out and being not tied to anything, which can be good or bad depending on how it goes. But since we're talking X-Men, we might as well dive into X-Men Dark Phoenix, because it's supposed to come out the same year as.
Oh yeah, I think isn't next year?
2018.
2018, isn't it? Deadpool 2, New Mutants, and Dark Phoenix. I think all 3 come out.
Okay, buddy. Mommy will be home soon. You can play Batman game. Okay. Daddy's talking to Phil. Say hi, Phil. Show him your mask.
Hi, Solo.
Show him your mask. What mask are you wearing? Who's that on your mask?
Spider-Man.
He says Spider-Man. You can't go nowhere without wearing his Spider-Man gear. But, I mean, if you think about it real quick, I'm going to jot this down. I'm going to grab a piece of paper. That's going to be like, that's Fox's chance to, like, make a impression. So, in 2018, comic movie-wise, you're going to have 3 X properties from Fox. DC's only supposed to release Aquaman. And then Marvel, and then other comic properties were supposed to get the Hellboy reboot.
Yeah. Oh, but I mean, just the MCU next year. Black Panther, I think, is February.
It is, because that's gonna be my birthday movie.
Man.
And then you have Avengers.
Yeah. Oh, part 1. Yeah, Infinity War. But man,
is there a third? Is there a third movie next year?
I don't know. Maybe I'll look that up. But yeah, me and Luca went to see Inhumans in IMAX, and they had the trailer for Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther. I think those look good now. Watch those in IMAX. That Black Panther movie, like when he's leaping off the car, holy crap!
Dude, I just like when he's like people. I watched that trailer multiple times in IMAX because, what do you call it? I work at the theater part-time, just for some extra spending cash. I'm checking my phone only because my wife was calling me, and then she said, "I'm sorry, I know you're podcasting."
Yeah, woman.
And so I'm looking up.
The third. Yeah, there is a third MCU movie next year, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
So, which
we're gonna get another original DC actress coming over to Marvel again.
Who?
We got Michael Keaton in Spider-Man: Homecoming, playing Janet Van Dyne and
Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Michelle Pfeiffer. Yes.
Yeah, I had to think for a second. So just thinking about that, like that's Fox's big outing, like because they're usually they put out one. They tried maybe they've always done like one a year, so they're gonna give us 3 properties. I have a feeling, just me, that maybe New Mutants will get pushed to 19, or X-Men Dark Phoenix will, but that's just me and my gut thinking.
Yeah, but aren't they? I mean, when they get that close, do they put? Well, I mean, I guess they could push them back, but I don't know.
Well,
If they
it's
don't
all
put
about how much money and what they do, you know,
Yeah.
and how it performs, and having like, if New Mutants comes out, it said like April,
Mhm.
and then it says Dark Phoenix is supposed to be November, and I didn't see where Deadpool comes out.
Yeah, but I mean, Dark Phoenix. I mean, you slap that title on an X-Men movie. Even people who are like casually aware of the X-Men, you slap Dark Phoenix on it, they're like,
You know what I say?
hmm.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now.
Well, they
like,
better bring their A game, because you slap Dark Phoenix on there, people are gonna expect. That's a lot of people. That's their favorite X-Men story.
With all the stories they could do,
Mm-hmm.
with all the X-Men characters that they have, and all the stories they could do, like, and the fact that this is the fourth in a new trilogy or the first of something, I don't even know anymore, because you had the First Class trilogy that had the reboot inside of it, and I'm just saying that you have excuse me, you've already done a bad Phoenix, and you screwed up, and you don't have the Hellfire Club anymore, and it's just like, can we just do a different story? Can we do something that's going to be like, honestly, give me Mr. Sinister. Seriously.
They set it up. They set it up at the end of the last X-Men movie. Yeah.
Exactly. And you're introducing Cable over in Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give me Mr. Sinister, because he is a creepy character. And give me a strong Cyclops and Jean story, because you screwed Cyclops up in all the other movies. I don't want to see another Dark Phoenix movie, even if it's quote-unquote right. Mm-hmm. You have a first-time director who's just been doing producing and writing, and they're going to give him Dark Phoenix. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to see it again. It was already done wrong, and you've already screwed up some of the elements before it. Give me Mr. Sinister.
And who created the Jean Grey clone, Madeline Pryor, who was Cable's mother? Mr. Sinister.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Like, it makes more sense to do a Sinister story, because then you can kind of tie in Deadpool and Cable, than trying to do a Dark Phoenix that we've already treaded on, and now we're going to do it again, and it's going to suck. So,
oh man, I mean, bring in Mr. Sinister. You could even bring in Nate Gray, who was like the alternate universe version of Cable, but since he didn't have that techno-organic virus and stuff, his power was like unlimited. He was like Dark Phoenix level almost.
My children want nothing to do with me until I'm doing something. Like, Solomon's been on the couch, playing on the iPad, watching videos, until we start talking, and he decides to run over here. And now my dog is on my lap. Why? Maybe they just want to be with you, Phil.
Your son's writing a movie over there.
Oh, I know. He's got it. What's up, Spider Solo? I don't get it. They're crazy, but I love them. But I feel like Fox should not realign their idea, but Deadpool did great. So how else could they connect to the Deadpool universe?
Well,
to get the X-Men. Cable.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he's going to be in X-Force, so I guess, I don't know, unless they.
And then that was the last one we were going to bring up and kind of touch on and see. I'm pulling up its IMDb, because originally I know that Jeff Wadlow for the longest time was pushing to write and direct an X-Force movie. Mm-hmm. And right now it was just announced that Drew Goddard was going to direct it. And I mean, we all, like, Drew Goddard. Was a writer, producer with Whedon, went on to be the creator, showrunner for Daredevil, was in part of other properties, and is about to have his directorial debut with, hold on one second. Oh, crap. He did Cabin in the Woods was his directing, and My Crazy Children.
But I mean, the description for X-Force says a time traveler gathers up that the hellish future he comes from. That's Cable. Why don't they just say it's Cable?
Yeah, because it's cooler. It's cooler to say a time traveler, because if someone just says Cable comes from they might not. Well, you dumb down the explanation.
I mean, I would assume maybe they'll probably change that after Deadpool 2. Then they'll be like, yeah, it's Cable. Everyone will love Cable.
I think,
oh yeah, that's Cable.
I think a lot of times they nothing's guaranteed anymore. They've learned that. The X-Men movies have been declining, and then Deadpool happened, and that was their biggest hit, and it was a surprise because that was one they didn't want to do. So I think that everybody wants to play everything safe.
Mm-hmm. Just please, Fox, don't mess up Cable.
Please, Fox, don't try to give us another Fantastic Four.
I don't know. Maybe they might not be, because there's in the next couple months they're putting out a Marvel 2-in-1 book with the Thing and the Human Torch and the descriptions. They go looking for the rest of the Fantastic Four. So hopefully Marvel Comics are bringing back the Fantastic Four. Or maybe that's because Fox has given up.
I've said the Fantastic Four would work. I think it would be best. I think that is your network television show right there, not the Inhumans. I think if you did a television series of the Fantastic Four, that's you're better off doing, because
but if you go movie, big budget movie, and it's done right, I mean, you need that money for special effects. I mean, Negative Zone.
But it just depends on how you do it, because everyone says that the problems they've had is developing the Fantastic Four. You either have to get someone really good with the character development in short periods of time, or do it as a TV series.
Well,
so you can build that family bond.
Just
build that attention.
Just like any of these movies, it's stick close to the source material, and Doctor Doom doesn't have to be the villain every time. The Fantastic Four has some cool villains. Yeah, you don't need Doom every time. You got Mole Man, you got the Red Ghost, you got Annihilus. I mean, give us a Galactus who is in a giant cloud.
Galactus should have been Rise of the Silver Surfer should have been ended with "He's coming. We have to prepare." Yeah, it should have been they defeated the Silver Surfer in Doctor Doom, and the third film should have been the appearance of Galactus. But we know that Captain Marvel is supposed to feature the Skrulls, so that makes me wonder if we'll have maybe some Fantastic Four tie-in.
I don't know. I'm wondering if it's going to give us Secret Invasion, where they find out a bunch of heroes have been replaced by Skrulls.
But who could we do? That's the thing. Is if they did Secret Invasion, it would have to be heroes either we have off screen or something, because most everybody's didn't appear until the rise of the Iron Man.
I mean, even if they kill somebody in somebody looks like they get killed in Infinity War, and then they're like, wait a minute, this is a Skrull. Oh wait, they replaced Hawkeye 6 months ago.
Dude, that's what's her face? Janet Van Dyne.
Oh yeah,
is a Skrull. Plant that seed in there when they bring her back into Ant-Man and the Wasp. The Skrull got her. That would be really cool, because that's a character that you're not thinking about, and that hasn't had a chance to blossom. That's been missing, because Miss Marvel's supposed to take place in the 90s, and I think Dark Phoenix is supposed to take place in the 90s as well. That's a completely different universe, but just saying they've been decade hopping, which makes no sense.
Yeah, don't get me started on that, because it's they keep going up every 10 years, and it's the characters don't seem they look like they're aging every 10
so
years.
How okay, let's do this real quick. This is what made me mad. Ready? We'll say he's 18. Havoc is 18 in First Class.
Oh, jeez.
The next movie is supposed to be 10 years later. Crap, we'll say that means he's 28, maybe 25, because I can't remember if it's exact 10 years. Mm-hmm. And then another, we'll say 10 years. So we'll put him even at 32 by Apocalypse. And he has a 16-year-old brother.
Yeah. And that's
I know it can happen, but seriously?
And that's the weirdest part. Seriously? And in the comics, Havoc was the younger brother.
I know, and that's what made me mad. The Summers family has such a rich history and tie to the X-Men universe, with Cyclops being Professor X's number one, and the brothers and where they go, and then we talked about Mr. Sinister, and then Cable's battle with Apocalypse. I mean, and they're just left and right screwing it all up. And that's the end of my rant on the Summers family. But I mean, yeah. I like the X-Men, but more than anything, I would prefer them to stop making movies, give it 5 to 10 years, and bring it all back with a straight out plan. Because we even have, why not mention it? We have Gifted coming this fall.
Oh yeah.
Is anyone going to watch that show? I don't think so.
I'll give it a try, but I mean, I don't know.
And we have Legion.
Yeah. Oh, Legion is good. Have you watched that yet? The first season?
No, I have not had time.
I mean, they don't explain stuff to like you have to get through to like the last episode or two where they explain stuff. But before that, you're like, what the hell is going on? It's a mind trip, but in like the best way.
I have crazy children.
Okay. Do you need to go?
Yeah, it's just Sayla's chilling here and Solomon was playing with the dog. But I think it's funny because he sat there the whole time, like leading up to this. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as you and I start, he's like, "Ha, Dad."
He was lulling you into complacency.
But hey, I did pick this up. I've been on hold. I'm gonna read this. I picked this up at the library. So, because I know little about them, and I figured I'd like to go ahead and learn a little bit more. And this was like one of the biggest, like full volumes of the Inhumans. So
yeah, read that because I think the first episode of Inhumans premieres 2 weeks from tonight. I believe
it does. And like I've watched 3/4 of the Inhumans IMAX from just being at work. Mm-hmm. So, we'll have a good discussion on that once everybody gets a chance to see it.
Yes, I've seen the first 2 episodes. I told Charlie, I mean, I don't think it's as bad as everyone's saying it is, but is it perfect?
No, the problem is, and I've said this on some posts online, everyone's like, why did Inhumans flop? I'm like, because all you did was take a TV episode, it's made for ABC TV, and release it just in IMAX. And for 2 weeks before it airs on TV. And everyone's like, why do most people are like, wait, it's not a movie. It's just a 2 episodes TV.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on TV. Why am I going to pay $14 a ticket, give or take?
What's even like, they're like, oh, it didn't make any money. Well, it's like, I know, like around here, the theater I went to, they only, like, I went on Labor Day. They only had 3 showings, and the first showing wasn't until 4:50 in the afternoon.
It's because it didn't make the first weekend. Like we had it premiere at 7 o'clock, and then they had it like all day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then after that, they started splitting the IMAX showings with other movies because it just wasn't drawing. And like I said, it didn't have the advertisement that like my brother likes the MC, and I said, "Hey, you want to go see what's Inhumans?" So it's like it didn't have the draw, it doesn't have the name. And it's going to be a TV series. And the fact that the IMAX version has less footage in it than the 2 episodes will when they air on TV. So, yeah, they just shot themselves in the foot with that. But I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, like I said, it's not perfect, but I'm like, that's not a complete train wreck, but Yeah, I mean, it was only the first 2 episodes, so hopefully it's only getting 8. That I mean, for this, unless it gets another season. But
So I mean, that gives us 6 more episodes to look at for a full story, and I really would like to see in Infinity War, like in one of the next 2 Avenger movies, if we're fighting on a grand scale, I would like to see some sort of references to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., to like Black Bolt fighting alongside of them or something.
Well, who's to say? Who's to say we're not going to get any of them, or even the Netflix guys? Because I mean, didn't they say there's like 60 some characters? I'm like,
yeah, I'm like, even if it's just a pan shot,
yeah,
of like Thanos' invasion, and we just see the Defenders fighting like Thanos' minions. Like, they don't have to be right up next to Iron Man and them, but we do see that it is impacting everyone. Because I just want to see Black Bolt just scream.
You see Daredevil and the others just like trying to beat on Thanos' minions, and like Frank Castle just comes in and goes.
And he's like, "This isn't working. All I do is shoot people. That's all I do.
You guys are weak."
Isn't that right? Say, look.
All right, should we wrap it there? Looks like Spider-Man's ready to go on an adventure.
Spider-Man, what are you doing? Why are you hiding your shoe in Mommy's yoga mat?
You know what the answer is going to be, right? Because.
Oh, my favorite is his now is, you understand, or you ask him a question, he's like, yeah. He'll say no, yes. Meaning like, no. You get that? Yes, you do. He'll answer with no, yes. And you're like, what?
Or Luca goes, I don't know.
Watch this. Solomon, you ready for night-night? No? What do you want to do instead?
Taps.
Okay. He's been doing where he'll be like, lay down with daddy. Like, instead of going to bed, it was like, I'll lay down with daddy instead. I'm like, yeah, you will. So, all right, man. Well, thank you for having me on here. Like, just talking about the expanding Deadpool and Marvel. And, you know, I'm interested now, like, since we sat down and looked at the fact that next year Fox is going to try to do 3 X properties. I'm curious about how it's going to play out, because, I mean, in theory, they could work all 3 of these together and start a new chapter and a new like way of looking at the Fox X-Men universe. So, but all right, well, the baby's trying to escape.
All right, well, you want to give your social media, whatever else?
Yeah, just find me on Twitter at JTYPatrick. JTY Patrick's pretty much where you can find me on anything social media related. So you can kind of discuss things and go from there.
And you host the Krypton Report, so any Superman, Supergirl comic book writers, anyone from the Supergirl TV show or Krypton show, get a hold of this man. He will do an interview with you. And stare at his baby
pretty
like
face
that while he's doing it.
Which one? This my little Supergirl here.
All right. And as for me, if you want to do an interview like I did today with Marvel writer Kelly Thompson, email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. And send us your thoughts on anything, hell, superheroes, comic books, TV, movies. It doesn't even have to be superheroes. Any TV shows, movies, anything you're watching or listening to. I got the new Foo Fighters album today.
Oh, man. Is it? Like, I love the one song I listened to, and me and my friends are all big Foo fans, and we've been talking about it all day. My one friend's got Spotify, and he's like, it's on there, and he was listening to it.
It's like my favorite band.
So I'm like, man, like, I want to listen to it. But, all right, I'm going to go find some Foo Fighters here.
All right, everyone, you go find some Foo Fighters, too. But until next time, Lilith might be back if her electricity returns. If not, maybe we'll get Charlie Esser on here again.
Electricity?
What? All right. Until next time. We have been your Mercs with Power.
Wait world, wait world, wait world, wait world. To be strong and kind, step to your wait world, wait world, wait world, wait world. To be strong and kind, step to your.
I need to like some graphic images.
I think she needs some medicine.
No deal.
Wait world, wait world, wait world, wait world. To be strong and kind, step to your wait world, wait world, wait world. To be strong and kind, step to your.
All right, Fox. Give these movies some maximum effort. Good night.